To enjoy this and other great episodes on Patreon, check out the link in the description and subscribe via the Black Kluge tier for full access to over 100 exclusive episodes. For those of you who would like some QF swag on Teepublic, t-shirts, magnets, mugs, what have you, also click on the link in the description.
Thank you for your lovely emails, etc. yesterday about my statements about the current administration and politics. But fortunately, I have people who filter them and keep the negatives out. So thank you for the positive ones. I don't want to read your negative horse shit because you're a moron. But my father wrote with a fountain pen. And he had this one fountain pen that I remember him looking at it, caressing it, staring at it, treating it so tenderly and lovingly. And I used to think to myself, not consciously, I guess, but like, holy shit, I wish I was a fountain pen. Because my father would love me. He would care about me. If I was a fountain pen, if I was one of his pen. They've canceled it. It was horribly boring, but I don't know. Me, anything transgender, I'll watch.
Well, I did watch Caitlyn.
Hashtag Silver Spoon at Sugar in the Raw. Hashtag Sunday Morning Coffee.
I should have married him. He'd make a great wife for me.
Oh, my God, I would.
Yeah.
I would just,
could make me my pignolis.
Do things like that.
Pignolis.
Yeah. You see all the bedding I bought. Oh, my God. So,
I can't wait.
Take a picture, Ralph.
Yeah.
Well, you can't put it on Twitter.
What's the thread count?
No, I'm concentrating my like Instagram is better.
Jealous, dude.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah.
You're fucking dating Megan, and you're a rock and roll guy. You got the hair, you got the fucking look, the tattoos. Guy probably wanted to sleep with you. Trust me. I'm telling you. Probably want to suck your dick is what's going on, and he's all angry about it. Trust me on that. Am I right or am I wrong?
Number 3, breathing. I mean,
or we could make a list of things that we all started to do that we got bored with, like photography, playing chess, riding a bike, owning horses, that kind of stuff.
All right, but why would I make a list of that?
Yeah.
I met Meryl Streep, and I had this anecdote about when I was making my movie, how I watched her video, and it helped me. I walk up to her, and I go, I love you, and then I started telling her the story. Halfway through the story, I see the eyes glazing over. I know I'm trapped. The story isn't all that interesting. She's probably heard it 50 billion fucking times. For me, being famous, the best part of it has been that I almost do nothing for myself. I'd be honored if a man was so attracted to me. Not one gay guy has ever come on to me. You know why? They're not attracted to me. It's upsetting me.
Welcome, folks, to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm your host, as always, Jim Fix, a.k.a. Fillmore Fingers. With me, back in the saddle, is Mr. Jay Santi. How are you, sir?
Also known today as Jay Santi. This is a one that I've been dying to dive into for such a long time.
Well, Jay messaged me, and he goes, I'm so jealous. Bob got to do some Sal content, whatever, and it wouldn't be the first time. I think it was the second time, because I know you love Sal, and I know Bob loves Sal, and when both times when it was Bob related, I just thought of tried to think of something he would enjoy, and then he goes, we gotta, and I go, there's loads of stuff, pick something if you know offhand something you want to do. And this is one that we both you came up with this one, but I like the Ace Frehley one. I'd like to do that one as well.
Oh, he is so, Sal is so, I'm captivated by him because he's just a perfect mix of naivete, ignorance, and just childlike innocence. Like, it's just, he's a perfect storm of being an ass. And there's so many times that people I've read in different groups and such, it's like, oh, this got to be an act. If he's acting, then he's like the Meryl Streep of fucking Howard Stern's world. He's Meryl
Creep.
Meryl Creep.
Well, you said funny. You said childish. What was childish naivete? That was the phrase you used. and also childish intelligence, because he gets on this show, and I think he figures, and I imagine it was they made him feel so at home, or they got into, like, he fit in so well at that show, being not only a sycophant but knowing how the show works, that I think he thought he made the mistake of thinking, well, if you're in, you're in. Like, if I'm in, that means I'm in all the way. That means I can be really free and comfortable with Howard, and should be no big deal. In this case, we're picking the episode where Sal wants to stay at Howard's apartment for convenience sake, but he's a little too much of a, familiar creep to for Howard to ever let that happen.
Yeah, and I've listened to the shows before Sal became a regular member of the group. Where he would come in, he would do the horseshoe jackass segments, goofing on Gary, the lighting of the teeth and all that silliness and all that. And this guy, this is him. There's no act. This is not a like a Benji kind of shtick thing. No, this is him. So anytime he would come on, I would just gear up knowing that some really, really ridiculous nonsense is going to fly out of his mouth. And he never fails. He never fails.
I get this note from Gary yesterday, right, in my email, and it says, "Hey, this is really weird. Sal, the stockbroker who works with us."
Yeah.
You got to hear this one, Robin. Sal, the stockbroker who works with us, wrote me this note. Mm-hmm. And I go, well, what's the note? He goes, Sal is working Friday night somewhere, and he needs a place to stay because he'll be working late. He wants to use your apartment to crash.
Oh, my God.
Use whose apartment?
Mine.
Are you serious?
Tonight. Tonight he wants to use my apartment. I go, Gary, it's a goof. And he goes, no, I don't think it's a goof.
It's got to be a goof.
He's
really?
dead serious.
He ask that. Come on.
He's dead serious. And so I said,
that was me the last 4 weeks on this show, guys. I really do try to apologize. My cough is slowly going away, but it's still there occasionally.
I've seen this so many times that I know the exact cue of when that cough or that sound was going to come out. I know exactly when it happens.
You were that enamored with the audio or whatever?
I let me tell you, this is like early Sal. Like he said, he just got into the fold, and he really believed that this could be possible, that he would spend the night in Wiggy's apartment. I found it amazingly naive, but yet innocent of him to really believe this.
So innocent enough for this not to be a bit, obviously.
Right.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm doing everything I can, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So he goes, Sal's dead serious. He wants to use your apartment tonight. I go, Gary, you don't know when a bit's going on?
It's got to be a bit.
It's a bit. It's a bit. They're setting you up.
I think Sal's a funny guy, and if this is a bit, it's the funniest one.
Is it a bit?
I have a great idea, Sal.
It was a bit, right?
If I could take credit as a bit, as it being funny, I'll say it's a bit, but it wasn't a bit.
So Gary says to me, it's not a bit. Sal's dead serious. And Sal even said to him, this is a really weird job. He goes, any job I ever had, people never told me I was inappropriate. But here, every minute, people are telling me I'm inappropriate and saying weird things.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
All day long.
Sal, why would I want you in my apartment sleeping?
If you were Ralph, it'd be a different thing.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's like I said, perfect storm. And then Artie in the back just genuine laugh, knowing that this is going to lead to something. We already know that the crescendo that's about to be built with Howard and such. He's gonna just milk this.
also already knows that Howard is not a hang. Like he's not a guy to have anybody at his place. Like he has had them over at this point during his single days. He was like, oh, let's have a New Year's party or whatever. But few and far between, and he certainly doesn't want anybody just coming over.
Yeah, let's just have magicians come over and just entertain.
Yeah.
It's not that. I didn't have a place to stay.
Who cares? That's your
Why
problem.
is that his problem?
Because
I don't want to see you ever in my apartment. You're a weirdo.
What were you thinking?
First of all, he just lost $1,100, $1,000 to Roberto the salesman, and $100 to me.
Why?
How?
Because we bet him, and then another $300 for the hotel room.
Bet him what?
That you would say no.
He really said. He goes, "Why is it so weird?" He goes, "I think Howard's going to say yeah."
Why would I want him in my apartment?
I said,
Howard, it's not that.
What is it?
I have to stay late in the city tonight.
Yeah.
I don't want to stay at Christie's place because he hasn't changed his sheets in 3 weeks.
Okay.
I don't want to stay at Will and Jason's.
Okay.
Because who the hell wants that Jason lurking over you when he's sleeping? He's
Right.
half a homo.
Oh
Okay.
God, look at that. Kayla, your dreamboat is docked.
Oh wow, look at that.
I'm trying to think what movie character does he look like?
He would be the Jewish Oscar Madison, like right there.
Christ almighty. Anyway, here's the thing. So he doesn't want to stay at Richard's because he hasn't changed his sheets in 3 weeks. We'll go there, force him to change his sheets, or just change his bed for him. Like if it's really that,
I got it. Remember the movie Sleepers?
Yeah, of course.
The really
the Italian guy that saves them when they're getting chased by the hoodlums.
Yeah, the big fat guy that liked to play handball. Him. That's you got that look going on right there.
Oh, you're talking about Fat Mancho.
Yes, Mancho.
Okay, the guy goes, you want a Rolls Royce? You don't come here. You go to England or wherever the fuck they make it. He was a great character better character in the book than the movie. But that guy, and he was also in Suicide Kings. He plays Brad Garrett's partner. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Great. I forgot all about him. Jesus.
And Artie lives in Jersey. I'm sure Artie would definitely let me stay, but I don't want to go to Jersey. I'm already in the city.
Why do you
Gary
think Artie would let you stay?
I'm not so sure about that.
Well, maybe not. But Gary lives in Connecticut.
Bet somebody another $1,000.
I'm in the city. You were my last resort. I would never want to bother you. I felt uneasy. I asked Gary in advance.
You got to be kidding. I still don't believe
I
it.
said to Gary, if he's serious,
dude, you have a
Fire
you got to fire him because he has
I'm not
no
serious.
goddamn
I'm not
common
serious.
Wait,
sense.
can I tell you something? This is exactly what he told me. He goes, "Listen, it's not a big deal. I'll stay in the guest room. I'll take a shower in the morning. Then Howard and I will jump in the limo together and we'll come over."
Great.
No, you didn't say.
Jesus Christ.
Artie is
I'm choking.
done. It's over. It's over. He said he can literally split his sides. That's exactly what would be happening right now.
Oh, that hurts.
This all. You just didn't.
Sal, you're officially the funniest guy I've ever met.
What?
There is no way. No way.
No, he's serious.
No
And
way.
Gary said,
Howard,
Sal, give
I
it
said,
up.
I said, Gary, don't you know when you're the victim of a joke?
would it be safe to say how we have a pretty professional relationship off the air?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it wouldn't be safe to say that. We barely have a relationship, and I don't want you in my apartment.
Well, that's mean.
Ever. Mean? I don't want you in my
I work
apartment.
for you.
I don't care.
You know what?
Does that mean you have to be put up? I mean, Mel's never kept us in his house when we worked for him all these years.
Yeah, but
Now, here's the thing. So we've got this is I can't remember what it says 2005, but I don't know exactly, but it's either been a year, maybe a year and some change, or just under a year that he's been there. And
It's not even maybe not even 6 months because Christy won the contest.
right,
and-
John left in like March of 2004. And
Right.
this is 2005. At most, it's at least it's 7 months.
Something like it's maybe around 6'5", something like that, because he was brought in a little bit after Christy came on.
Right.
Chiasano was the one who recommended Sal, which became fodder for him. And Sal had a good time with that one. But yeah, and he really felt as though that he was part of the crew that quickly.
Yeah. And also what makes me laugh is actually like right now he's hearing Howard be really fucking dismissive and just completely standoffish. That was if I were Sal at that point and I've been that much of a super fan and thought, okay, my ship has come in, that would not motivate me the rest of the time I was there. Not because I shouldn't be asking for, to stay at the guy's place, but I'd be getting the full blitz understanding finally now that Howard is separate from everybody else. He's not man of the people. He is never going to have you at his house for anything. Even if he has a soiree, he's probably not going to invite you.
I mean, because all our bosses or all the people that are just very highly recognized in our industry have always invited us over to their house and slept over because that's what they do.
And use the shower.
Yeah, the COO of my hospital is definitely having me over to their place.
Yeah, that's the other little aspect of this whole thing that makes it so asinine. I mean, even if you played basketball with the boss or something like that, it would still be an imposition, and it's not something anybody would expect or should expect.
But he just really, this is the same. It's so innocent of him to really believe that this was a possibility.
Do you think he was thinking, well, Howard's got to have a massive place. He's not even going to notice me. I can save money, because I have a feeling it's more about the money than anything else.
Yeah, I think it's that. And this was also his way to crowbar this friendship that he really wanted to get with Howard. For this for like 10 years, 11 years. So yeah. He was working on him.
Yeah.
Why do you feel comfortable enough?
I don't. I like to get more comfortable with you.
Why would you feel comfortable asking me for a place to stay, but not to email me that note? You had Gary give it to me.
Well, no. He said to me that his email was down, so he forwarded it to me. He would have sent it directly to you.
All right.
Oh, you're kidding.
I told Gary.
No. Benji's night is tonight to stay over. The guest room is booked.
You know what? And tonight's Survivor, I figured we both
watch it together?
Yeah, we both love Survivor.
Sal, come on.
He had a whole evening planned.
Sal, have you ever heard any one of us asking him to do that?
You know what? If it was
a date, in other words, like we could sit and watch TV together.
We'll have some laughs with Beth, watch Survivor. We both love it. We both talk about it.
Insane.
How am I insane? You know what, Howard? I don't know. Oh, it's so
Sal,
much.
A month ago, you were a super fan of the show.
You still are.
Now you're.
Yeah.
So he's not even a month on the job.
That's the same. It wasn't even 6 months. He just got on. Like it's the first couple of weeks, he was tormenting Tom. He was putting signs on his back. He was putting signs on the door. Stop ruining the show. He was tormenting him. So he was saying inappropriate stuff in front of the interns. He came in like a bull in a china shop.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, he got a little too excited, I think.
Oh yeah, a lot excited.
Yeah.
Fortunately, you're inside the door somehow.
Somehow, thank you. Go do your TV show.
Wow.
Howard, you spend weekends with Dominic in the Hamptons.
No, I don't. You don't know anything about my life.
You mentioned it on the air, dude.
Okay.
I'm saying,
I'm telling you,
am
man,
I that?
Sal is jealous of certain people. In
You
your
know,
life.
he couldn't let you stay.
There's the spin. Bring it on.
And it's true. He's not the first who's done that. There have been a number of the guys on the show who's gone and judged Wiggy's friendships with people. It seems as though that it's, I don't know if it's a thing to where people are trying to be friends with Wiggy and wondering why they're not, or they really have questions about why does he hang out with this person? Like, what's the connection? What do we have? What was going on here?
Well, the two that come to mind immediately, Dominic, of course, who questioned why he was hanging out with Ralph all the time and keep calling them two culeros. And then there was Richie Wilson, who said outright, look, you hang out with Ross, you hang out with dickheads. And they're trying to write it off like, oh, Richie sounds drunk, and Artie's going, he sounds perfect. He sounds sober as a judge when he's saying this. So there are people that clearly was going, dude, your choice of friendship is a little bit odd, to say the least.
Yeah. Also, Stuttering John used to do it too. So it is a weird blend of people who who have these judgment issues.
Like, I'm trying to think. Dominic wanted, like, desperately to just be, associated with Howard. So there's a leech. And Ralph, well, enough said. There's he sucks in many other ways besides the obvious physical. Then Stuttering John, looking to save his job, looking to just cozy up to the boss, kiss his ass. Because you get the sense of John that he's an absolute star fucker, and he would do that with anybody he thought he could get something out of, ancillary. Then you've got like Ross. Now Ross and Richie Notar and all these people, they just want to like rub up against him because he's Mr. New York.
Yeah. Then you see later on when he became the star effort and he had the Kimmels and stuff become part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, people would question like, "Well, how the fuck did that happen? Like, where did this come from?"
Yeah, and it literally was, I'm star fucking. Like, I want to say, like, and then that God, I know I'm pretty sure we haven't played the audio, but Chris Rock going to that one table with the friends and cast and Sheryl Crow and Ben Affleck or something, and going and he said, yeah, you should say hi to Howard, like be nice to him, and they simultaneously go to him. and he sounded hurt by it. Stern sounded like, you mean I can't go there? And that was the turn of the century. Like, that was 2000. So already the seeds were sort of planted after, the separation and stuff. Like, he's going, maybe I will go. It's a famous person. Maybe, I went to so-and-so's house. I wasn't going to, but I realized, they're kind of famous. So, and I'm going, what's the point? They're famous. They're not famous. Are you friends or not?
Yeah, and then we see how much he sticks out like a sore thumb, more than physical and more inclined with his ability to even interact with human beings. Everybody called Fred the Martian, but Wiggy's the one that seems like he'd be like from a galaxy far, far away. It's just there's no way this man could actually make a connection with anything or anyone.
Well, serious question. Have you ever, okay, we're not talking about a work situation. We're talking strictly, there's no connection outside of social. Have you ever like sidled up next to someone to try to be their friend because for something you needed them for? And not a sexual thing. Like, literally, what can I get? I need this person. Better to be friends with them. You can get in somewhere, that kind of thing.
Like I said, unless it was work related. Other than that, no, I couldn't. Like, I do it unless it was like for work. Now,
right? I mean, I have a hard time playing the game like that. Like, being, if you don't like the person, you don't like the person. If you have no connections, you don't hang out with the person.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, connections meaning like, you get along, you seem like you could talk to that person, whatever. They seem like a good person. I don't know. Anyway, so Sal, going on about this, Jesus Christ.
Reel in the spins. Reel in Psycho Sal. Go ahead. Artie, go. Robin. This has
let Robin go.
Yeah, I was saying.
Why does this?
Excuse me. Thursday
no, you
night,
excuse me. Why does every conversation?
It's Joey Boots night.
Oh,
yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, you're no different than Joey. Honestly, Joey's.
I was just thinking, not to sound like really mean, but how different does Robin look without makeup?
Yeah, it's
not pretty.
Almost shocking.
Just a little bit. Now, guy and girls, ladies out there, please, I'm not trying to judge. I guess I am. I'm succeeding all the same. And I know that I don't think she needs a lot to make her look better. But that's the situation where the natural look is not good for her.
Yeah, and the lighting is not helping either.
No, it is not.
Good as you are.
What?
As a human being,
now
fine.
you're crazy.
All right.
You know what?
Hey,
I'm stuck in the city. I asked my boss, Howard Stern, if I could crash
first of all,
in this huge apartment and sleep in a bed. And
I'm not your boss.
You've
your
never
boss,
seen the apartment. How do you know what's
I would love to see it. I was going to do a whole write-up after
I don't
that.
want you to see.
I had visions of us hanging out, laughing, watching Survivor. I was going to cook for you.
Oh, my God.
Howard,
I am a great cook.
I'm so glad I came to work.
I'm an imbecile for politely asking Howard if I can spend a night at
Dude, my job.
Huge place that I would.
You don't know if it's huge. You don't know anything about it.
I don't know.
So what if it is huge?
What's the difference?
It's not your huge. See, I tried to tell you this yesterday.
How do you even know it's huge?
It's
You
Gary's
try to
fault.
have a conversation with him, and he can't even listen.
No,
I'm listening. It's your fault, Gary.
No, I told you yesterday. He came to me and he said,
I asked him first.
He said, "Do you think I'm off?" And I said, "I think you're way off." But he insisted that he wasn't that off, and he goes, "Gee, I don't understand why." And I said, "Howard wants to go home, live his life, be left alone, sort of relax, get ready for the next day. You know, you're sort of a loner in that respect."
Loner? I mean, who wants Sal in their house?
And I said, and he said to me, he goes, "You know what, Gary? I think you're off on this one."
Okay, I have to say this, guys. I don't mean to derail this with pointless observations, but you remember the hello video?
Yes.
Okay, what shirt was he wearing?
I thought he had like a graphic tee or something like that.
No, it was Atlantic Records t-shirt.
Oh, right.
What's he wearing right now?
Oh,
Adidas Atlantic Records jacket.
He must still have a swag connection with them over there.
At MTV, perhaps, or Atlantic. Yeah, there must be a fucking like fire sale at Atlantic Records. Jesus.
Roberto, the sales guy, was laughing harder than Artie.
Even he'd understood.
And he goes, Sal, you're out of your mind. He goes, "No, I think you guys are off on this. And Gary, I'm going to send you a note. Send it to Howard. I think Howard's going to say yes."
And imagine the fun. I get to watch Survivor with Sal.
Oh, boy.
And then the laughs never
You
stop.
get in your jammies and you, Beth, and Howard watch Survivor.
It would have been easy because
You would have cooked.
we
While
could have
you're
hopped in a
eating a
limo
meal.
with Ronnie in the morning. So it's just convenient.
Oh, you're full of it now. You didn't really think all this
He
was
does.
How
going
do I get here? How would I get here, Robin?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, whatever.
Well, it would be uncomfortable with
How
Howard.
about convenient would be leave me alone out of your life and do whatever you want to do. What do I got to do with you?
Sir, I politely asked Gary, sir. I mean, I'm doing everything I can.
First of all, and by the way, I'm not your boss.
Oh, you know until you are. What a cunt.
Yeah, exactly. When it's convenient for you to strike someone down. Okay, so the only thing that I could come up with is his last place of employment, which was in the stock market, which he was at an exchange and such, where that kind of environment is, kind of, macho. Usually a bunch of guys is in there and they have like this whole, I'm thinking of like Boiler Room with Vin Diesel, like that kind of thing. And those kind of, hey, you want to come to my house? We're gonna play poker and watch a couple of games, like that kind of thing.
Right.
And he really believes that kind of same environment works everywhere. Like that's just it. It doesn't change. That climate doesn't change.
Well, the thing is, okay, so he's just the problem. First of all, in this situation, if we're thinking practically, who does he know that lives in the city, like in Manhattan or wherever? Like I don't know if I don't know where K-Rock Studios was, but I'm assuming Manhattan. But
Right.
who lives in Manhattan there outside of Howard? Robin, I don't think has a place there at that point. She still lives in Long Island or wherever the fuck, New Jersey. Artie lives in Jersey. Gary lives in Connecticut. Richard lives in town. So he really should be staying with Richard. If not Richard, then one of the Howard TV people, but they don't like him. Right. So who's left? Benji? No.
Benji's in the city, yeah. Benji actually didn't live too far. He was a couple blocks away.
And Fred, I have no idea where he lives in New York at this point. I know he's got a place in the Hamptons, but obviously he's not commuting every day from the Hamptons.
Nah, he was still in New York at this time. As a matter of fact, I believe Tess was just born around this time. So he was, yeah, I believe so. 05?
No, because she, maybe you might, no, I think it was earlier. I think it might have been slightly earlier. Like she might be 1 or 2 at this point, but you're right. She's not very old. That's for sure.
He's the dotting dad and husband. So I don't think Sal would have been able to go over there.
You mean doting?
Doting.
Dotting. I thought, what is he? Is he putting dots on the kid?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Well, listen, I've got to.
I'm Sal today. That's where it's coming from.
Speaking of which, your daughter had her Sweet 16 last weekend.
Last weekend, my baby girl turned 16, and she took it easy on dad. Didn't ask for a big extravaganza. None of these MTV My Super Sweet 16 pageantries and such. So what we did was she just wanted to take her friends to the zoo, and that's what we did.
Oh, cool. Good. Does she? And I like this thing is I don't know from I don't have kids, so I don't know what the fuck birthdays mean anything. I mean, to kids, most birthdays mean, just presents and gifts and whatever, money, possibly whatever. But did she ask for anything like any special gift that had to be like a for a big birthday? It couldn't be for 13 and 12.
Nope. The dotting dad that I am just gave her money. That's all I did.
Good. She'll put it towards her next maybe her next technical piece of equipment to continue her journey on being the next filmmaker coming out of New York.
Yeah, she'll be the Puerto Rican Sofia Coppola.
There you go. Hopefully better. God, poor Sophia made one, maybe two good movies. She did one with that guy. Do you remember the guy from Blade? Steven Dorff.
Yes.
She did one with him that was just interminable. It was like staying 6 hours in an elevator.
Oh.
I think it was called. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I got this right. Fuck. Nowhere or Everywhere, I think it was called. Sofia Coppola. I saw it one time and I fell asleep like in record time. I've never like Apollo 13. It was worse. Let's see. Films. Okay, hold on. Oh, here it is. Okay. No, her favorite. I don't give a fuck about her favorite. Somewhere. That was what it was called. Jesus Christ.
And that's what you was thinking, like watching this movie, that you were somewhere else.
Yes, I wish I was elsewhere.
Elsewhere.
It was brutal. It was brutal. Anybody, guys, I just give it a shot, I suppose. I loved Lost in Translation, but that one, oofa. Oh, she lost all the goodwill in one fell swoop.
Whatever.
I'll tell you who your boss is.
You're not my boss.
Who pays your bills?
You're not my friend.
Tom Chiusano.
Ask Tom.
Ask Tom to stay at his house.
No way.
Wait a minute. So
I'd rather
go ahead
sleep
down
in
the
Gary's
list.
mouth than Tom's house.
Go ahead down the list. He's not your boss.
I don't know who
friend.
Howard is to me. I try to do everything I can do.
He wants your love so bad.
I had lunch with Lewis the other day, and I was just saying, how come I can't go to the next level with Howard?
Which is what?
Because you're a girl.
Well, hold on.
Dude, he's trying to get to second base with you.
What is he talking about?
What next level?
This is what I meant.
Okay.
I don't even. I just.
All right, what is the next level?
I don't know.
Howard?
Something just happened in my brain where everything stopped.
Let him explain the next level. Come on.
The next level is like, I just can't fathom you, like hanging out like. And no disrespect to Dominic, like you like Dominic and Ralph's a good guy, and you like Ralph. And
What a great picture!
Oh,
that. Hey, ladies, can you imagine? He's single.
It looks like somebody. This is the picture they've taken of him, even though this is from a video still. That I just paused it. Looks like this is the result after he's been glassed at a club on the side of his head.
He looks like he was going for that Counting Crows fanboy going. It's very Mrs. Jones.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
your things, and you have Ross Zapin, and these are very boisterous, loudmouth, wacky people, and I think I share some of those similarities, and I know you like me to a certain extent. I can't fathom that you, out of hanging out with all those lunatics, you can't stomach me for one night in your apartment.
They're not staying in his apartment.
To be here, like why can't we hang out? Why can't we hang out a little bit more?
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
And this is why I said I'm fascinated by him, because I don't ever believe I've ever thought any time in my life about individuals like that. Like, I've never looked at people. Maybe women and men, like in their relations, like wow, she's with him, like that. But
right.
For guys to like with friendships, I could never think that way. That's why I say he's just fascinating.
Well, no, there's got to be some precedent. You had to have had at least one friend where he was like your buddy was friends with someone else who you could not understand why he put up with that person because that person was such a shit or so boring or some like that. They did not grow up together. There's no connection that way.
No, I don't even. The only thing that I ever would say connected with is like with social media, like when you see friends list and it's like people you may know or mutual friends,
right?
And you'll go, wow, how the hell do you know them? Like they're like from two separate parts of like the whole spectrum. But
Right.
then you always find out like somebody went to high school with someone, blah blah blah. But when it came to, I didn't really analyze. Maybe I missed the boat on that. I just never really analyzed people like that. That was just a little.
Beyond that, beyond that, like whose houses would you crash at when you're that age, or even younger, let's say in your 20s, whatever, buddies, like just buddies' houses, and it would be like a desperation thing. End of the night, too late. You know what I mean?
I never did. Yeah.
Never?
Never. No. I'm a home team kind of guy. I can't be anywhere else.
Why not?
I won't be comfortable. I won't be able to sleep. Like I have like certain moods and actions that I do that I can't do elsewhere.
Do you mean movements?
maybe, middle of the night you might want to squeeze one out. I can't do it in somebody else's place. So
when you gotta go, you gotta go. I mean, Robin just did it. Rob just did it, by somebody's lawn. Fuck.
Violently and then brought out the hose.
Oh God, maybe the thought better of the hose afterwards. I mean, it's true. I mean, I'm not as comfortable even at best friends' houses because again, it's their place. I don't. You just. It depends. If you're really close with someone, but it's still not home. I get the idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you get to know me a little better?
Why should he?
You want to know? Because there's something about you that is odd.
All right.
Sal,
are odd.
I don't know how I'm odd.
Sal,
to me.
Those things either they happen or they don't. You can't make them happen.
Yeah, but you know what? So
And
when
this seals it.
When I had,
if
I
it
will
was ever
never,
going to happen,
ever,
extraordinary.
you
ever.
just killed it.
when I had lunch
I will
with,
never take you to the next level if that's important to you.
Let me explain to.
And why is it so important to hang out with me?
Because I don't
Who am
have like
I?
a father figure in my life.
Oh my God.
Yes, it did. Remember Tony Lotto?
This is. It started getting it did get borderline scary after a while. It did we started pulling back the onion a little bit too much.
Is it a little single white female?
It's a lot. It's a lot that's going on there.
Oof.
God,
You're old enough
you're
to be
a
my
90-year-old man.
You're old enough to be my grandfather.
So you are a father.
Shut
Robin's microphone off, please.
You're looking
Shut
for
it
me
off
to be
and
your
throw it out.
father?
No.
My
When I was
goodness.
younger, I was, I had a tough life. My dad was crazy. Whatever.
He was a prisoner at the pizza parlor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
here, you were confined to a pizzeria. That sounds like a great.
Where's
Maybe
the
for you,
music?
Fatso.
You mean while I was having a party, you were having a tough
I used to
life.
listen to you.
That's it,
You were
yeah.
you were the only release in my life.
Oh my God!
On the radio.
Well, except for the girl that you broke up with that you went to the bathroom and jizzed in a drink and gave it to her. God, what an awful fucking story. This is why when certain people, like I know Len hates fucking Sal and thinks there's but understands he's got his own bit of talent there, right? But there is no question he's just someone you'd never want within like 100 feet of your kids.
No, I mean, and especially like later on when we go down the whole Sal history, when with Mutt's daughter and the just the way that he is with his pornography, what he was into. There's so much going on with him that it would take a psychiatrist of like a high level to try to even crack just an inkling of his thought process. It's just he's phenomenally ill.
Well, Dr. Melfi would be cracking open the bourbon like in the middle of a session with Sal easily.
Yeah, definitely.
You remember? Was it that? I can't remember which Bugs Bunny cartoon it is where the I think it's Sylvester. Maybe he's at the haunted house with the Porky and all the mice are haunting. They're trying to scare them the fuck out of there. I think it's that one where he throws out the catnip and swears he's never going to touch it again. That's the image I get of the psychiatrist. But I mean, and we have talked about this a little bit. Sal did have a fucked up childhood. There's no question.
Yeah, he did. But even still, it's like some people tend to turn that around. You know, apparently, like it's been said that he's a really good father and such like that. But with that, there's just so many other avenues in the city in his head that are just dark. It's
just a little fuck those boobs.
Yo, comedically stupid.
Literally a release.
I can't even use the right thing. So I used to fantasize about sitting in here.
Now you're sitting here.
When I was like 17.
And now you're here.
Right, but it's not enough yet.
You want more. You want more contact.
Hey, I'm being honest.
You hired a stalker.
No, I did.
That's what I said that as a joke originally, but it's the truth.
That's not even close. So can I explain what happened? So I'm talking to Lewis. I go, you know what? Why can't I be that guy where Howard could say, hey, you know, you want to hang out tonight or something?
But listen to me. It shouldn't be that important to you.
That's what Lewis said.
There's lots of people in this world to do that with. That'll be comfortable.
You have your friends, right?
No, I don't.
You're a star effer.
What? What's this?
Howard? This is Rich coming from Howard, first of all, and I believe they're referencing Louis the Board Op.
Oh yeah, Louis the Border, the one that hated Gary.
I love that clip.
I'm
just a guy. You're like a chick.
Right, you're just a guy. That's my point. That's what Lewis was saying. So he said, hey, call up Howard. I mean, he goes,
if I'm just a guy, why is it so important for you to be with me? Just go be with some other guy. Dude, you're in love.
Big time.
Really? I mean, goodness.
I'm not in love.
You're in love.
Howard, at one point I said to him, I go, don't you think Howard would like to go home and make love to his beautiful girlfriend rather than hang with you?
I want.
No, he wouldn't. And Howard was the first one to say no.
And we're really throwing the word beautiful around a little heavy at this time, aren't we? We were basically trying to convince everybody, because there was a time period that we didn't know who she was, and
that's right.
We don't know who she was, so they were really overselling her. And I remember this distinctly. I'm watching an episode of the E! Show, and they finally showed her.
Yeah.
And my mother knows even to this day, because I listen to the show even now. She knew even then that how big of a Stern fan I was, and she knew we were watching the E! Show or Howard TV. And she walks past, and she goes, "Is that the girl that Howard's always been talking about?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Beautiful."
God bless your mother. Well, look, I guess we can't argue the merits. Really, it's kind of pointless. But the whole point is, if she really is a drop dead knockout, whatever, your mother should say that.
Right. And then she cocked her head a little way, and she looked, and she goes,
to make up for the wonk.
Yeah. And she cocked it, and she looks, and she turns to me, and in Spanish she says. In Spanish, she goes, ella un poquito bico, which means in English, she's a bit cross-eyed, isn't she?
I had 75% of that.
Yeah.
Oh God. You don't. There's no chance you remember which Howard TV episode it was.
No. It's probably the one that they first came on, when she first came on, and she was like promoting something for an upcoming appearance she was making. Oh, I think probably the FHM one is one of them.
Okay, well, I got to look that one up.
Sal to be there.
One night, dude, it'd be fun. We watch Survivor, drink some beers. I'd make some burgers for you. I'd show you some tricks.
Sounds like a typical night for you.
I was gonna make Italian burgers.
You know what I do when Survivor's
Italian
on?
turkey
I'm in
burgers.
bed when Survivor's on.
He wanted to be there with you.
Yeah, he's gonna be there.
You want to lay in the bed with me?
Like Beth likes me. We would crack jokes with Beth. You know, it would be funny.
What's some of the jokes you?
When I told Beth about this, he's insane. He's kidding, right?
Oh no, that's horrible.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
She thinks you're mentally ill.
I can't see it, Howard. So Lewis
And
said,
she tries not to think badly of
well,
anyone.
can I
Here's
please
Tom
finish?
Chiusano.
If I may, I have
Yes.
two things to say. You should be so lucky to stay in my house as opposed to Gary's mouth.
God, I miss Tom.
Me too.
He was such a good sport on the show. That's what's missing, like really someone who can take the shit and give a little back, but still be very reserved,
Still be the the dad of the room, but yet still be punches.
Yeah.
And number two, I have two words for you, Howard. Restraining order.
Right.
Yes.
What?
You might be right.
It's time to call the guys with the white coats.
I have visions of staying in your house and watching Survivor and cooking you
You
dinner.
shouldn't have visions of anything like that.
Whatever. If it was any other person. So Lewis says to me, you know what the problem is, Al?
Put that energy into your wife. Yeah.
Please, I don't put
seriously.
anything into my wife. That's
My wife.
Oh man, Jesus Christ!
My wife.
Look,
My wife.
that is he's the author of that fucking brilliant jukebox B-side. Absolutely.
problem.
Well, maybe it's time to.
Howard. So Lewis says, hey, you know what? Maybe everybody looks at Howard differently, which they do. And he goes, maybe you should call him out. You should say, hey, pal, let's get together.
Hey,
Lewis
he goes,
is helping
Which
you?
Lewis was this, by the way? The lighting guy or?
Yeah, Lewis, he was really helpful. He gave me good advice.
He's a genius.
Lewis,
By the way,
The lighting
The
guy?
sound guy. The sound.
Oh my goodness.
By the way,
Lewis,
Lewis.
the board up?
Yeah, the board op.
Genius.
Lewis,
He's a
great
genius.
No,
idea.
but
Great
he said,
idea.
he goes, you know what? Nobody asks.
You're a funny dude, Lewis.
Oh,
He gave me
Lewis,
great
what
advice.
are you doing?
Lewis, can you?
You so set him up.
What did you tell him to do?
He gave me good advice. That's all
Your
he did.
opinion means so incredibly much to this guy, and I think in a lot of ways, he couldn't get over that fact that you weren't extending it. You weren't making any sort of like a overture to him to kind of hang out with him on a daily basis.
All right, listen to me.
You know what?
No,
When you said
Howard,
last
I don't want you to flip out too much.
Wait a minute.
Listen
no.
to me.
Last week you said get a movie, king of comedy.
I like I said, I've seen this so many times when Fred screams out overtures. It's such a that's a Mark Harris reference. Like,
Oh, he went deep into the well.
so we just briefly we talked about his Sal's songs, and I said you think about it, like once again you go down that dark alley that Sal has in his mind, and it's just inner anger. You get that one, you get Photograph, like
Well,
any Robin songs. It's just he has a lot going on, especially with women.
Yeah, most notably his own wife, who he claims to, have loved at one point in his life. But and I get it. I believe me. The setup that he had at that point, 3 young kids, like all within. I can't even imagine. Like if there's a guy, I can't remember. There's a video out there. It became famous for 4 laughing quintuplets, like little 4 boys. You've seen that. I'm sure it's like America's Funniest Home Videos. But then there's a video the next day where this poor fucking father, he's sitting at some table that's specially designed for these 4 babies, as it like one big baby chair that can hold 4 kids, and he's trying to entertain them. And I'm thinking to myself, that poor son of a bitch. If he could like speed time until they could take care of themselves a little bit, like until he didn't stop and you didn't have to wipe 4 asses, then
Let me tell you, man, I only had one for a reason.
It could have been triplets.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I don't know how you listen. You parents out there with twins and triplets and quadruplets, you got like a superpower if you not taken a knife to your own throat. If you've not pulled a Susan Smith, I don't know. Anyway, God bless you all.
You didn't get it yet, did you?
No.
Oh my goodness.
You better get it.
No, but when I said maybe you should, ask the guy, I didn't say you should ask him to sleep over his place. I said maybe you should ask him out for lunch. Start off a little bit.
Oh my God! It's like dating a chick. You're making me feel creepy.
Well, that's the thing. But you know what? How do you date the chick,
He's waiting to go
Howard?
to the next level.
This is the creepiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
You know what? If I
want
this is going up to a chick you've never had on a date, and instead of asking her on a date, you go, "Do you like anal?"
Yeah. You might as well just pull out your penis and just go for it. It's like you might. Let's get
well,
we're gonna skip the pleasantries and go right for it.
Well, yeah. I mean, and when I say if he said that to Howard, the answer, of course, is yes. But yeah, I mean, I like that he takes it's almost like Louis or Lewis is mother in Psycho, and she's directing Sal, who's Anthony Perkins, like in that weird way, like you know what to do, almost like Eric the Midget, and he's taking it to, oh well, should just ask Howard to stay over at his house. It should be no problem.
Right, yeah, because that's going to be the easy way into your friend to the friendship.
Whoa. Yeah.
Be with Howard. I want to be with him at night. I want to cook for him. I want to be with him.
We'd watch Survivor together.
We're going to drink beer and survive. Dude,
Robin,
I had visions.
Why are you focused on me? Go focus on other guys.
I am the guy with the balls
dumping you
to take the initiative.
The balls? You shouldn't even. What are you doing, man? Go have some fun with your friends.
I don't have any friends.
I mean, what kind of a relationship would it be if you coerced Howard into spending an evening with you?
So if you don't have any friends, doesn't that tell you something? If the friend you're focused on is some famous guy.
I have friends, but I just needed a place to stay.
Go make a friend.
But see, wait a second. Let's be honest. That's not true. There's a lot of this is a discussion we had yesterday. There's a lot of places you can stay.
Like where?
You could ask Jason. You could ask Will. Forget about those things.
Hey, they have these places in Manhattan called hotels.
Listen, you had lunch with your buddy Lewis yesterday. He's got a place in Manhattan.
Hey, that's nothing. There's a new page 69 on howardstern.com, our gossip column. It says that they caught Sal going through the releases looking for Ace Frehley's home phone number.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No, it's not true.
It was true.
I totally believe that he was looking for it.
Of course.
I mean, it wasn't just that. It was Seth MacFarlane's number that he was trying to get that one time. And I remember he said that was one of my favorite wrap-up shows where he goes, Jason said, if you have his email, like his personal email, I know there's the professional one, but if you have his personal email, I'd like to have it. I'm not asking for it, but I'd like to have it.
Oh, please. The porn star that he was trying to get on the show as well.
Oh, that's a trivia one. Oh, who the fuck was that? That's gonna bother me until I get that.
Yeah.
God, you're right, but using the Rolodex, like the Stern Show Rolodex, to get connections, so that is in any culture, in any fucking business, that's a huge no.
Oh, definitely. But with him, I'm telling you, the first few weeks on that show, he was tearing up shop. It was. They said they had to pull him to the side a couple of times and tell him, dude, you are doing way too much. Like, you got to relax.
Yeah. And he was like a kid in a candy store, and they gave him like $5, and that $5 can buy him like literally 500, jelly bears or something like that. So, but he just, there's always, you can only spend $5, but you want to spend 1,000.
Or he just gets the $5 lollipop and just starts breaking everything else to get the other
kidding. Fucking hell.
Explain it. Here's what he said. I want to give you the quote, and then you can explain yourself. He was looking through them. He didn't do anything about it. He said he just wanted to see what it looked like.
Oh my God.
The phone number.
If I did it on
release,
if I did it on the sneak, I would be guilty. It was laying on the intern's desk, and it said Ace Frehley.
Why do you care, dude? You're psychotic.
What the hell?
Just because a guy's in a band, you're gonna stare at his home phone number?
And stare at his release? His release looks like every
what
other
he put
release.
down on there.
You want to stare at his release?
Ace's release.
I just stared at the release for a second. I just stared at it.
And then you want to come stare in my apartment?
Yes. I mean, I just want to sleep there so I could be here in the morning and
While we're listening to this, guys, I just came up with the name of the episode, and I'm thinking Sinbad and Phil Hartman, House Guest. I've got the Photoshop in my head already.
I like that.
Oh man.
No, that's not what it's about.
Howard, does he have your address?
No, he's not. I'm going to put out a bulletin.
Now we have to hide everything from Sal in the office.
Howard lives in Poughkeepsie. Go visit.
All right. Thanks for helping.
Dude, you might be gay.
I'm not gay. I don't want to have sex with you.
Oh, yeah.
I promise you I don't.
Yeah.
Lewis, was it the creepiest conversation when Sal was asking you what to do?
He's just very insecure, and I think that if you were to, if you
please,
somehow
Lewis,
gave him
it.
this somehow acknowledgement that he's doing a great job,
I told him already.
That would mean the world to him.
Lewis, we do that every day.
him.
You don't hear that in between commercials. We tell him.
I took him out to dinner and told him he's doing a good job.
I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying that from his perspective, this is what's happening.
It's okay.
But it doesn't make you think he's a little bit crazy?
Well, yeah, but who isn't around here?
Oh, come on.
Thanks.
Yeah, but not like this.
This is really odd.
This is another level.
You know, Artie, if you worked on a
Fred, come on.
This, I still think it's a
Wait,
joke.
you know
I'm
what
waiting for the punchline.
Wait a second.
Because he cannot be a fan of this show.
That's such
a
a-
listen for 20 years or more.
Here's the analogy.
And think that this would be okay.
Do you think it would be okay for Vinny Favale to ask Letterman to crash at his place?
Yeah.
Okay, now you're nuts.
Vinny would have.
Jesus Christ. I'd sooner ask, I don't know. I'd sooner ask, I don't know, one of the head, like George Lincoln Rockwell or somebody like that. I mean, I know that I would get a better response from some complete fucking bigot asshole than David Letterman. That's a horrible, but that's actually a good analogy in the sense of Letterman versus Wiggy. They're both kind of social weirdos.
Yeah, and like when you think about it on that scale, especially like with Vinny and such, for Sal to believe that it's okay for that to happen, that's what I said. There's something really going on with his old perception of what the environments he was in before he's in now.
Well, when you mentioned about the boiler room thing, like that was more communal. There might have been more of a frat kind of thing, and maybe he could crash at people's houses, and I'm sure he could actually, to be honest with you. But beyond that, I think he had this in his mind. I think he bought the myth in his mind that when you go into the Howard, like when you're not there at the Howard Stern show, but you're listening, it is one big hang for all of them. Like Robin stays over at Howard's house, Howard stays over at Fred's house. Meanwhile, it's like 2004. Already Howard's well into the star fucking mode. And then he's distancing himself from both Robin and Fred. And if Sal's really a diehard listener, you have to know this.
Right. So with him, I think he just believed that, it was all, universally connected, that everybody was on that level. But we've always heard who's on the upper tier, who's next tier down, and Sal, it's
it is a Twilight Zone episode.
The other thing too is that even Wiggy says it later on. He's like, I don't know why people want to hang out with me. I'm such a bore. But when they don't hang out with you, you get mad. Like it's
double bind.
Yeah.
Hell.
No, you're really not.
No, he wouldn't.
All right, well, who cares about Vinny's retarded? But
No,
Howard,
you're retarded. Joe, you're on the air.
There we go.
Hey, Howard, I heard Sal called up back. He wanted the recipe for engagement chicken for dinner.
Yeah, that's what we're hearing too. Unbelievable.
No, but Howard, the only difference with Sal is that it's really out in the open. I've seen people in the hallway who, if they come up with a bit on Lotus Notes, and if you don't give them credit for it on the air, they have for the next 24, 48 hours just a vehement hatred for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Who are these people?
I'm not going to say, but I mean...
Well, I mean, when people write something, Leno doesn't credit each person in his monologue.
Exactly, but you validating what the other work that people do around here means the world to so many people around here because you...
Yeah, because number one, you don't get any validation. Number two, you're not getting paid enough to not care about validation. Leno takes care of his writers, and he took care of his writers and always did.
Yeah. But not in the Stern world. No.
No way. No fucking chance.
A lot of
some people have to sort of go see a psychiatrist.
I was going to say, maybe we're hiring from the wrong pool.
Right.
You mean the audience?
Yeah, Letterman and Leno must be going to professionals.
Yeah, they have agents. They have agencies.
Letterman hires from Harvard.
Artie, like your career was really flourishing before you got hired here. Mr. Dirty Work has spoken.
Letterman hires.
Sal, shut up.
Letterman hires from Harvard.
Like a bigger idiot.
Oh God.
Letterman hires from Harvard. I think Leno steals Letterman's writers.
Right.
Yeah.
They go to
those are guys
agencies.
who actually have something going on, and they're not stalking the people they work for.
I've been going directly to the audience.
Robin, can I ask you something? Robin, when you worked as a nurse, and let's say you had to do a real late shift and you were stuck in the city, would it be okay for you to ask one of the surgeons to crash his place?
No.
What are the surgeons?
The surgeon?
Yeah, because you're a janitor. He's a surgeon. You work together, right? Fucking hell. Oh. And this is the thing. I've had however many bosses. I can't even think of how many, and different bosses as well. And the delineation between staffer, whatever your level, and the boss, the ultimate boss, is so like very rarely was the boss so down to earth that you could feel comfortable saying whatever you wanted. I always had in my head, this is the boss, mind your P's and Q's.
Right. I can't even remember any time that I've worked anywhere, with supervisors, administration, management, that I've turned and said, it would be great to hang out with this person after work. Most of the time, once I'm out the door, I don't want to have anything to do with him, or her. No, I never would have thought, it'd be great if I just sat there and watched a ball game with him. It'd be awesome. No,
well,
fuck off.
Well, the other thing is, okay, he has this vision of a hang in his mind, and in his mind, he's probably, I don't know, fucking rimming Howard, and while he's eating the turkey burgers Sal made for him. Turkey burgers, Jesus fucking Christ. Turkey burgers for turkey neck. And so he has this image of we're all gonna pal around, but meanwhile, even after a month, he must have. And any normal person would see, oh, I see how it works. Howard has very little interaction with the interns. Gary can't even get to meet him basically unless it's during a break time. Because I'm sure he's heard, I'm sure he's at this point will have heard enough stuff from Gary complaining about maybe not getting enough FaceTime with Howard for what he has to do because Howard's such a passive aggressive, get out of my way, I don't want to deal with anything asshole of a leader. That it must trickle down to him oh no, he has nothing to do with us peons.
Yeah, and yet Sal still wants to find a way to
talk about tunnel vision. Fuck.
I'm gonna be the different one. Yeah, it's like almost trying to get a chick. They're right. It is.
Oh yeah.
No, if it was a good friend of hers, yeah.
Yeah, but
You're
not
a good friend of
just
mine.
a surgeon.
I thought we were.
No, we're not. We're not good friends.
When did you get the impression that you were friends? What gave you that impression?
Howard's polite to me. I do a lot of bits for the show. We talk. We
polite
laugh.
to everybody I work with.
Bits for the show doesn't make a friendship.
I needed a place
That's
to
a
stay.
job.
I asked him. I'm sorry for asking you.
This is weird. Joey, you're on the air.
Howard, Sal is the best thing that has happened to the show in ages.
Thank you, Joey.
Does that mean Howard has to
been
put him
hired. Sal is the best thing. He's a comic genius, and I truly believe he's serious right now.
Oh, he is.
Because I know the guy and he's delusional.
Thank you.
Right, because you even understand that he doesn't necessarily get to sleep in Howard's house because he works here.
No, I know the guy. I know how he thinks, and I know what he said to me before, and I know he's totally serious right now.
He's suffering from dementia.
Hey, Howard.
I don't know what I'm suffering from.
Did you ever go to, did you and Stuttering John ever go to the gym together?
No.
Ever?
No.
Because Sal was under the impression that you and John used to go to the gym all the time together.
No.
So
Really?
he's got the scenario in his head that he should be doing that.
I had a personal friendship with John. John used to come to my home.
Yeah.
And,
But John stalked you the same way. I'm hearing the same kind of thing here.
Yeah.
So this is a question I've got for you, which is you're the perfect person to ask because you're so well versed on ancient Stern lore and mid-range and even closer to, you go way further back as a hardcore listener than a lot of other people in the show and fans even. So why do you think Howard let Stuttering John closer to his, let him further in than, let's say, Bowie?
I think with Bowie and Wiggy had that professional relationship, and their personalities doesn't mesh well. I always thought that, although he's a spaz himself, but I always thought that Wiggy thought that Bowie was a spaz. Like he was just a real kind of dorky guy to him. As for
like Howard's Fonzie.
Exactly. It's on another Photoshop. And that actually happened with him, with Wiggy and Studjo getting closer after the divorce.
Yeah.
Then they would hang out a little bit more, and it was more fun-loving and cool kind of guy. Gary couldn't do it because Gary was married, had to go home to Connecticut, do it his stuff, raise his kid, give him bath. So I think that's where it happened a little bit, but it ended up burning Wiggy in the end because after a while he realized that not only just the conniving ways that John was, he didn't just do it with the staff, he did it with Wiggy as well, but also that you're gonna find out that there was something really wrong with him too. Like there's something going on with Stuttering John as well.
Well, they were definitely both able to bond over like kids because Howard hated being a father and wasn't one anyway, really. And Stuttering John definitely was no fucking father. I mean, there you heard plenty as much, and you heard as many clips as I did about Howard John basically treating his kids and his wife like Howard treated Allison and the kids.
Yeah, and I was just listening the other day about the contest that he had with his daughter, where they had she had her arms in the air and her arm for a contest that they had. It was a silly contest, and he wouldn't let her win. He said it got about 11 o'clock at night, and she turned around and said, "Daddy, my arms are getting tired."
Yeah,
it's like 4 hours her arms were up. Like, are you serious?
I can believe that because he's a child himself.
Exactly.
Yeah, and but they've always said he's uber competitive. I'm like, now he's competing with Jeff the drunk.
He's competing with Jeff to make sure he's.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
but I felt more comfortable with John. I don't know.
It took him years to make you feel that comfortable. So Sal, you got a few years to work.
Scott, the engineer, is all fired up.
Sal,
He's been back in the office.
Get used to it, Sal. I've been here 20 years, never had dinner with him, never been to his apartment. Just get used to it. He loves you. He works with you. Leave him alone. That's the way you work
What
with
does
him.
that mean?
Scott was in the back
He's all
office.
crying that he can't go to Howard's apartment.
Scott-
Hi, Daddy. Daddy, I want your love.
Scott was in the back office complaining that I've never taken him to dinner. Or
No, I wasn't complaining. I'm just pointing out the fact that that's the way it is. Get used to it. I wasn't. See those guys? I said.
Well, that's the way it is for you.
Well, that's the way it is for most people.
No, I've had Robin over.
Yeah, the upper fucking tier. What a fucking dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is, by the way, post Howard's 50th birthday party where Robin asked Scott to prepare some kind of AV thing, but didn't invite him to it. We have to cover that. We have to cover that one because he came in and he goes, "She's dead to me."
Yeah. That was a whole thing too. And like, even Wiggy was like, "Ooh, that was bad." Like, that was a bad one.
Scott had every right to be pissed about that. A guy that long on the show, and giving you also such great content, just being just getting grooved on and stuff, and you couldn't find a seat for him. Jesus Christ.
And it became like the real thing that he is always forgotten. But for him to actually be a part of the party, the celebration, and you didn't invite him, ooh,
right? Yeah,
what an asshole move.
Fred, Artie,
Artie,
Yeah.
Gary.
Nice apartment.
There's just certain people I don't want over.
Right.
You were one of them.
All right.
You don't have to have everybody over.
I'm not crying
But
about it.
who wants to even be with me? I'm miserable.
Boy, that's a nice big apartment too. A lot of rooms.
Nice views.
Huge.
I'm not a.
Boy, that guest area, Sal, that you
And a
missed.
kitchen to die for.
I know Sal could really cook up a storm.
I
in
can
there.
really cook out. I make something called chicken alla Salvatore. You would love it.
Ah,
6
yeah.
burner stove, you'd love it.
Because I want to touch the food you'd touch.
Got a big TV you can watch Survivor on.
100-inch.
We can talk about Stephanie.
First of all, Jason and Will live in New York City.
Yes.
Benji, Fred,
They're buddies that he hangs out with. Fred is not a buddy he
Okay.
hangs out with.
Fred would never let me stay at his
Richard,
place.
Isaac,
At least he was
Richie
wise enough
Wilson,
there.
Robin Radzinski,
Oh, that's
Ganji,
nice. I like
Lewis.
Robin.
Lewis.
Good.
There's a million people that live
Lewis
in the
didn't
city.
want him
But
over
you know
his
what,
apartment.
Howard? And you know what else? There's
busy
100
man.
million people in the world, and there's only one Howard Stern.
That's right.
And it's
stay away from
important to
him.
you to be at Howard's apartment, isn't it?
What's that?
What's so important about being at Howard's apartment?
Doug Goodstein lives in Manhattan.
Okay, I got a little scenario for you. How many drawers and closets do you think Sal goes into if he's at Howard's place?
Every one of them. Every one of them. Every
Yes.
one of them. And it's gonna be both individuals that he's looking to find stuff to dig up on. It's gonna be sniffing Beth's panties or sniffing Wiggy's panties.
Yeah. And do you think he comes away with a keepsake, like a wall fixture or something?
Well, he even mentioned it on another date in where that was the episode where Gary went to the apartment to pick up Wiggy's cum rags.
Cum rags, yeah.
And Sal said he would have done it. He said he would have cleaned up the place, and he would have done a whole article for the website about it. So he had intentions. He had plans. He knew what he wanted to do.
Yeah, he wanted that DNA for himself.
And when they asked him on the wrap-up show if he had he's no, I wouldn't have done that. And they were like, yeah, right. Of course he would have.
Well, he told that story about like hiding in the bathroom closet while his aunt was taking a piss or something or shit.
Shit.
That was so awful. Holy fuck.
This is what I'm saying. The mind of his is just, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just so much.
He's working on the perfect show. Let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's and then we've always said Wiggy always tends to pick these individuals who, they are somewhat of a facet of him. They're part of him. So
yes, and having a sycophantic fan.
You piece them together and they form a gay wigged out Voltron, if you want to put it somewhere.
Oh God!
Do you know how cool it would be if we hung out tonight?
For you.
Not
for
me.
me.
Too.
How would it be cool for him? That's what I couldn't get yesterday.
We'd have some laughs. We'd watch.
You'd have a laugh.
Yeah, I mean,
you'd watch TV. You'd have a beer. He doesn't drink. He doesn't have beers during the week. To the best of my knowledge.
Whatever. 1 or 2 Coronas doesn't kill anybody.
Scared the hell out of me.
I can't imagine under what scenario this would ever happen.
I don't know.
Never.
I guess I need to be an arrogant attorney with a yacht in the Hamptons to accept.
Why obsess on Dom?
Now you're getting it, Sal.
There you go, Sal. Bingo.
Yeah.
What are you competing with my friends for?
Because, dude, that's not a friend.
Dude, you don't know what my criteria is for a friend.
You gotta have something I can fucking get on you. I love since we've added Len, he introduced a great Dominic impression. First of all,
I've been working on it. The only thing I can do is the Fred, and I can't even get that one out.
Sorry,
it's like the Wookiee. But why? It's funny that people always go at Dominic,
right.
And there's always, like we mentioned earlier, that question. And it's very much that I guess everybody is like, I guess the saying was that the emperor has no clothes on, where it's everybody else sees it but Wiggy, or does he see it?
Well, what sees what specifically?
That these people that are around him are just around him to, like, get a shine off of him, or be part of that the celebrity circle, that they're not really Wiggy's friends. They're just there because they could say, I'm with Howard Stern.
Well, I've got to say that, like, with first of all, he has a horrible, like, everybody he picks to have his friend is, like, been tarred. One of them's a killer now, on a set of a movie, and then certain people go through controversial shit, and then he almost everybody that he's had some contact with has had some Me Too stuff happen to him, whatever. And so Dominic, of course, being he eventually fell into scandal. I mean, it is kind of amazing. A scumbag hangs around with scumbags, and what happens to all the scumbags? Eventually, their shit catches up to them. And there was no question Howard knew he was just using Dominic for whatever he could.
Yeah, matter of fact, you think about it, like Baldwin, Matt Lauer, even Vinny got tied up with a Me Too thing.
Right.
It's a whole you never hear him address it. It's just like he erases them. He does the Thanos snap, and they never mentioned again.
Charlie Rose, eventually, I'm trying to think of people that he had interviews with that fell into scandal, because I mean, like, Ed Bradley just died. I mean, that was, and then Howard proves himself to be the biggest asshole of all. Let's see, who else is there that's connected? Obviously, he was palling around with Harvey Weinstein in the Hamptons picture, right? But that mean the Hamptons, you could be just sitting there. I know people use that photo as an example of socialite fucking Howie, but was he? I mean, he did have him on the show before, so it wasn't.
Look at now, Fallon is a friend of his, Jimmy Fallon. Now all of a sudden with all this stuff that's so. Yeah,
he got good with Ellen.
Yeah, got good graces with Ellen as well. Look at that, yeah.
I mean, he decided Lizzo was his next, like, his next train or whatever, and then she's going through some shit. Now she may be getting it may just be a cash grab, and I don't know where that's going these days, the Lizzo thing. But it is ironic that he, he seems to be connected to a lot of scumbags. I'm expecting Richie Notar's name to be coming up in some, indictment soon. Yeah.
Can't sit and judge my friends, and that's what makes you scary. What do you mean? That's not a friend. You're a friend, but Dominic isn't?
Well, why Dominic? Why?
What do you
makes him so
care? That's my business.
And you know what?
I'd
like to know
to.
your business.
Well, you see, this is
But I don't want you knowing my business.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't want to be your friend.
All right, good.
This
Don't
is
be
what
my
makes
friend.
me
Thank you. I
crazy
really feel great.
about these arguments, because they always start comparing who they think your friends are.
Well, you know what this is
saying,
like?
I'm better than that. Why him and not me?
You know what this is like? And this is what's creeping me out. Like, I've many years, pined for women. And I go, why is she with him and not me?
But I'm telling you, I have heard this before in this office, and I have never understood why it's so important, to the point that they start, because Dominic has done it. Dominic used to run down Ralph all the time. He couldn't understand why you were close to Ralph and not him.
I think he knows now.
Why?
God. I mean, Jesus. I'm just a little exasperated because I remember he would often talk shit about Ralph to Howard, Dominic.
Oh yeah. And he'd always tell somebody, or tell Robin, or even tell Howard that you got to be careful with him. You got to watch out for him.
Give me 1 sec. I'm going to see if I can find a certain email somebody sent me. Hold on. This is from one of my favorite QFers, and I haven't heard from her in a while, and I hope she's doing okay. This is Gia Cerrone. She used to have her family. She said, my little backstory: my family owned and ran a lovely, highly rated, Zagat reviewed small restaurant in Huntington, Long Island, which is a pretty affluent suburb. It's very near Lloyd Harbor and Lloyd's Neck, which is also one of the most upscale and expensive areas to live in the U.S. During the 15 years we, I think it's called Petite on Main, were open. There were quite a few celebrities that frequented our place. I'm going to start with Stern Show players that I waited on. Dominic Barbara. Before Dominic divorced his, I believe, first wife, he ate at our place several times. There was a boutique jewelry store next to us. The guys that owned it did a lot of business with Dominic. They told me whenever Dominic dined with us, we weren't supposed to give him a bill. Instead, just give it to them later.
Wow.
Dominic was such a kind person. I know, right? In brackets. His wife was also so gracious. They would split an appetizer and each have an entree, then share one dessert. No steak for two for him. He would always compliment the food and the service. He would literally knock on the kitchen door to compliment my mom, dad, and sister who were in the kitchen. He would always say, I want to bring Howard here. He'd love it. He used to get excited. I used to get excited when he'd say that, but now I know way better. He'd also always pull his card out to pay, and I'd remind him that the jewelers next door had it. He would then go into his wallet, give me $100 bill, call the busser, food runner over, and then give them $50. Many times his meal was cheaper than the tips. He and his wife would give me the biggest hugs goodbye. It breaks my heart he became such a scumbag. So obviously Dominic, at some point he knew how to spread it around.
Right. And they always say that he was never one to give to the help and such like that. But they also said that he grew to be obnoxious, really, really obnoxious.
Yeah. And clearly wasn't taking care of business, or he was doing the thing. He was kind of doing the Alex Murdoch thing and spending way beyond his means for cases, and didn't have enough cases to back up his expenditures.
His TV series didn't do well either. They thought that it was going to be his launching pad to become like one of these another one of these judges on TV and stuff like that, and it just didn't go as big as he thought it would be. And
wait a minute, he had a TV show?
Yeah, it was I forgot the name of the show. Yeah, he had a TV. It was one of those. It was like one of those judge shows, but he would be like the consultant for the case that was happening.
I see.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Power of Attorney. That's what it's called. Power of Attorney. That was the name of the show.
I'll have to look that up. My God. TV shows, Power of Attorney. You're right. 4 seasons.
Yeah.
4 seasons?
But I believe it was like the 4 seasons, but they did like 100 episodes, but they were always like on repeats, like that kind of thing.
Okay, I'll have to check it out and see if there's anything I could find online. It says here the show was canceled midway through the 2nd season due to low ratings. I don't get that. Why'd you say 4 seasons? At the effect of preemptions at the start of the 2nd season due to the September 11th attacks, breaking the momentum of Judge Lynn's debut and the high cost of the 10 or so rotating high-profile attorneys. So he was part of it.
Right.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out.
Pasta asciutta. That's what I say.
He's a phony Italian, Paul.
Who's a phony Italian?
Yeah.
Why, you're Napolitano. I'm Napolitano. Sure. You don't understand Sicilian. Altovilla. No, Altovilla. Era una mano mangiata. Sì, ma te l'ha mangiata tu. Una mano mangiata, ragazza. È stupato di Santa Capodoro.